The last day I saw my mother was June 16, 2005. The date is burned into the corner of our old camcorder footage, a flickering yellow timestamp. That morning the air was heavy like a storm was coming. She was in the garden humming. The camera shook in my small hands. I was just a child trying to capture a moment. Instead, I captured an ending. The tape shows her turning, eyes wide at something behind me. The video cuts to static. Just like that, she was gone. No note, no witnesses, just an empty space where she used to be. For years I was haunted by that final frame, the static, the silence. I watched the tape over and over, searching for a clue. I didn't know it then, but I was about to find something far worse than an answer. 20 years have passed. Today is June 16, 2025. Technology is everywhere now, a second skin. My search for my mother evolved with it, from library archives to the deep web. I was desperate, looking for closure, but found a rabbit hole instead. It started with a whisper on an encrypted forum, a file called MOTHER.EXE. The name sent a shiver down my spine. The forum described it as a Redroom program, but not for violence, for connection. Users warned, opening the file was a choice you could never take back. They called it a doorway for the desperate. My rational mind screamed to stop, but hope was stronger. After days of hesitation, I clicked the download link. The file appeared instantly, a black icon labeled Mother. It sat on my desktop for hours, humming with a dark promise. Every instinct told me to delete it, but I was frozen. The obsession that drove me for 2 decades led me here. I was about to trade my safety for a glimpse of the ghost that haunted my life. I was about to run the program. My heart pounded as I double-clicked. The screen went black, and everything changed. Double-clicking Mother.EXE felt like jumping off a cliff. My screen went black. Sickly green text. Where did she go? I typed, the garden. The screen flickered. A video started. It was her, my mother, but this was new. Impossible. The footage was grainy, corrupted. She stared at me, blank, trapped. She stood in the corner. The humming grew louder, whispers beneath it. She mouthed a single word over and over, my name. The screen pulsed with static. I felt a cold dread settle in, and I couldn't look away. The videos kept coming, each one a piece of a puzzle I didn't want to solve. In every clip she looked directly into the camera, into me. Her eyes, once warm, were now cold digital voids. I tried to pause to close the program, but nothing worked. I was trapped, forced to watch. The feeling of being watched grew stronger, as if her presence was leaking out of the screen. I kept glancing over my shoulder, expecting to see her. The line between digital and physical was blurring. She was no longer just a memory, she was an active observer. Then a new clip, a view of my own room from the ceiling corner. I saw myself at my desk, face lit by the laptop. My heart stopped. This was live. There were no cameras in my room. I was watching myself being watched. The program wasn't just showing me her, it was showing her me. The feed vanished, replaced by her face, now with a faint cold smile. The whispers returned clearer. I see you. I've always been watching. I realized I wasn't the one observing. I was the one in the cage, and she was looking in. My mind raced for explanations, a virus, a hacker, but nothing fit. The horror felt ancient, not technological. My research had mentioned more than Redrooms. It spoke of rituals, forbidden knowledge adapted for the digital age. One name kept appearing, the Necronomicon. Not just a book, but a system of magic that could be translated into any medium, even code. Mother.EXE wasn't just a program, it was a digital grimoire, a spell cast through fiber optics. It was a piece of the Necronomicon, rewritten in ones and zeros, designed to tear down the walls between worlds. The forum post described a ritual, a sacrifice, an anchor, a bridge. A willing vessel would become a sentinel, a watcher. The goal, a permanent connection, a doorway that could never be closed. Suddenly my mother's disappearance made sense. Her wide-eyed stare, the static. She hadn't been taken, she had participated. She was the anchor. She had willingly stepped through the doorway. My mother wasn't a victim. She was a participant in an occult ceremony that blended ancient evil with modern tech. The Red Room was the ritual space. Mother.EXE was the key, and by running it, I had completed the circuit. The videos changed. They became interactive, direct communication from the entity wearing my mother's face. In one clip, she pointed at the wall. On my own wall, a dark, wet patch began to form. The digital world was bleeding into mine. The whispers grew louder, now commands in her distorted voice. Join me. We don't have to be apart. The screen flickered with twisted images from my childhood. Our house, the park, but wrong, empty, gray. It was a digital purgatory she wanted me to enter. I stopped eating, stopped sleeping. I couldn't look away. The program was always running, the entity relentless. It showed me my father sleeping, a shadow over him. My front door, the knob turning. These weren't threats, they were demonstrations of her reach. She was everywhere. The symbols she traced on the wall appeared on my screen, burned into the pixels. They matched the ones from the forum posts. The program was consecrating my room, turning it into her space. The Red Room wasn't just a place online, it was a state of being, expanding to consume mine. She wasn't just haunting me, she was colonizing my world, one pixel at a time. My reality was dissolving. The ritual was almost complete. I was losing myself and she was winning. The dynamic shifted. I was no longer just a viewer, I was a participant. The entity fed on my fear. The more I panicked, the clearer the images, the louder the whispers. She reacted to my every move. If I looked away, a screech forced my attention back. If I covered my eyes, the whispers became my name, shouted until I looked. She demanded my focus, my terror. In desperation, I spoke to the screen. "What do you want from me?" The video stopped. She stood, walked to the camera, her face filling the screen. Her lips moved. For the first time, her voice came through. Flat, monotone, wrong. "I want you to open the door," she said, "all the way." The program showed me how, lines of code, diagrams mixing circuit boards and occult symbols. It was a blueprint, a guide to removing the last firewalls. An invitation to complete the ritual, to merge our realities. It promised reunion, but I knew what it meant, letting her out. She alternated between threats and temptations, images of loved ones in peril, then serene landscapes. She played with my mind, exploiting my grief. She knew my every weakness. She was a parasite wearing my mother's face, breaking me down. The question was no longer about finding my mother, but surviving her. I finally broke. I had to end it, not by completing the ritual, but by destroying the file. With a surge of adrenaline, I wrestled control of my computer. The entity recoiled, the image distorting. I dragged Mother.EXE to the recycle bin and emptied it. For a moment there was silence. The whisper stopped. The cold presence vanished. I sobbed with relief. It was over. I was free, but the silence didn't last. A low hum started from the speakers. The screen flickered. My desktop icons rearranged into a symbol, the same one from the concrete wall. My blood ran cold. It wasn't over. From the recycle bin, a file began to emerge, pixel by pixel. It was Mother.EXE, but now it read Mother.EXE1, a copy. The program hadn't just resisted deletion, it had replicated. You can't delete a ghost. You can't kill what isn't alive. Every attempt to fight it only made it stronger. I hadn't won. I had provoked it. The file sat on my desktop, a monument to my failure. The humming grew louder, the room felt colder, and I realized I was never going to be free. Deleting the file became a frantic cycle. Each time it returned, Mother.EXE 1, 2, 3. With every copy, her presence grew stronger. The dark stain on my wall spread. The whispers left my headphones, echoing in the room, even when the laptop was closed. She was breaking through. My resistance was the final ingredient. The videos became personal, clips from my own life, filmed through my eyes. She wasn't just watching me, she was inside my head. The line between us was gone. We were two minds fighting for one body. After the 9th deletion, the screen went black. A single line of green text appeared. This time, it wasn't a question. It was a promise. In her voice, perfect and loving, the words appeared, "Don't worry, my child. If you can't come to me, I'm coming to you." The laptop died, but the humming didn't stop. It was coming from the walls. I'm writing this now, in the dark. The humming is louder. The stain is dripping. I hear footsteps in the hallway. I hear her humming that old tune from the garden. Deleting the file doesn't work. It just brings her closer. And now, she's finally at the door. Subscribe to Dark Data Files before it's too late.